Once a bustling hub of commerce and activity, the town of Willowbrook had fallen into a state of disrepair and decay. The once vibrant streets were now empty, the windows of the buildings shattered and boarded up. Rumors whispered of dark and sinister occurrences that had driven the town's inhabitants away, leaving it a ghost town, abandoned and forgotten. Caroline, a young journalist, was determined to uncover the truth behind the strange happenings in Willowbrook. As she delved deeper into the town's history, Caroline discovered that a wealthy businessman by the name of Alexander Blackwood was behind the town's downfall. His twisted desires had led him to abduct children, using them as pawns in a gruesome game of life and death. Blackwood, who had become known as the Collector, had built an underground labyrinth of tunnels beneath the town, where he kept his young victims captive. With a burning desire for justice, Caroline made her way to Willowbrook to investigate. Armed with only a small flashlight, she descended into the labyrinth, her heart pounding with anticipation. The air grew colder and damper as she made her way through the tunnels, the distant sound of dripping water echoing through the darkness. As she ventured further into the maze, Caroline heard a faint sound, the sound of a child crying. Following the sound, she found a young boy, no more than 6 years old, huddled in a corner, his eyes wide with fear. "Please help me," the boy begged. "The Collector, he's coming back." Caroline scooped up the boy and began to run, but it was too late. The Collector had caught up with them, a sinister grin on his face. He snatched the boy from Caroline's arms and dragged him back into the darkness. Caroline was left alone, her mind reeling from the horror of what had just happened. She knew she had to escape, to find a way out of the labyrinth and back to the safety of the surface. But the tunnels seemed to stretch on forever, their twisting passages leading nowhere. As she stumbled through the darkness, Caroline's sense of dread grew. The Collector was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for his next victim. The sound of his footsteps echoed through the tunnels, growing closer and closer. Finally, Caroline saw a glimmer of light in the distance. She ran towards it, her heart racing with hope. As she reached the exit, she burst into the daylight, gasping for breath. But Caroline knew that she could never truly escape the horrors of Willowbrook. The Collector was still out there, his twisted desires driving him to continue his game of life and death. And Caroline knew that she would never be able to forget the innocent victims who had fallen prey to his madness.